Fellas, be honest. How many of you have been personally terrorized by Black Panther in the last couple weeks? I'm feeling the same. Dive comps have been running wild in Marvel Rivals since the game came out. And if you have played in the backline in any capacity whatsoever, you'll know what it's like to be gone in the blink of an eye. In today's video, I'm letting you know that there is more that your team can do besides saying, hey, someone switched to Namor. So if you've ever felt personally victimized by Black Panther, Spider-Man, Magic, Captain America, Hulk, today's video is going to be for you. I'm ranking the best anti-dive heroes to shut that down in a tier list. So let's get into it. Perfect, I thought that would fix it. Now, I was actually searching for something like this, I just couldn't find it. So I decided to go about making my own. That is going to be Marvel Rival dive counters. Yes, so this is going to be dive counters in Marvel Rivals. Now, if you've ever played the Vanguard, you know. Some of them are very good for dives. Emma Frost, Penny. If you play DPS, actually if you played Marvel Rivals at all, you'll know Namor is the guy for DPS. But I don't think there is actually anyone who is anti-dive or a dive counter in support. Mostly because the support role, well, you can get picks. You're not countering the dives. So I'm not sure how to call it, but I will treat it as normal. But just know the supports are kind of weird. Now, obviously, first one, best one, greatest guy, the Thing. He has his slam ability, prevents the divers from using their getaway abilities like Black Panther. He can't dash away. Spidey, he can't swing away. Magic can't teleport, things like that. And that goes the same with like Venom. Iron Fist, I don't believe he can do his double jump. With Captain, he can't run, but he can shield, so it's kind of eh. And then Hulk, I believe, has to wait a little bit to use his jump. That's pretty disgusting. And then on top of that, the Thing has the ability to jump towards an enemy. So he no longer has to run to get to the back line or whoever's being dived. He can just jump towards them, giving them shield, himself shield, and do his ground pound. Of course, if he jumps towards an enemy diver, in case he misclicks, happens. Kind of the same effect where they take a little bit of a stun because a giant ass thing is coming at your face, and then he just slams the ground. He does have his team up with the Human Torch, which kind of does the same thing, but the odds of you kamikazing from the sky really to deal with a diver is very low, although it can work, so I just wanted to include that. Now we do have Penny. Penny, I think, is kind of an oddball in this regard. Yes, she can deal well with the divers. By all means, she's great with the divers. You put down your nest, you set up a bunch of mines. That's cool, but the mines are kind of slow. So you have to lock them in place with your stun ability. Or if like Wolverine is jumping back or they don't suspect it, that's great to deal with it. It really takes her out of the play as a tank, which I think is kind of the issue. And then just as a general purpose character, she's kind of eh. But in terms of anti-dive, overall a pretty decent pick. There's better options. There's better ways to handle it. She's not bad. And then I lost her. There she is. I don't know how I lost her. She's a diamond. You got Emma Frost. She has a diamond form. You could pick up a diver, or whether they're diving or it's like Spider-Man trying to get away, slam them, kick them, deal with them, easy. But you only have one, maybe two if you're lucky, chances to grab someone, and then you have to wait for her cooldowns. So I don't think it's really the best, but you can use them more, easier, and often than I think you could get benefit out of Penny. The Thing, obviously, I think is just so much better in all regards to deal with the divers because of how his kit is built. But Emma Frost is very strong where she does get the diver. They're pretty much done for. And that's 3 tanks. That's great. Enemy team can ban 2. Ideally, your team is not banning any of them. And typically, if they're running a dive comp, the Hulk is going to be the one to go, and probably Emma as well. If you play the Thing, you do not need to ban Black Panther. You can deal with them. It's kind of a throw pick at that point. Some hot ones for the DPS. Starting off, one that you don't see all too much, but is kind of a beaut. We do have Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch, nothing really to slow down or stop the divers, but someone whose basic attack is pretty simple with actually hitting someone, very quick for getting around. Yeah, she needs to be more so towards the front line, a little bit of a down, but as long as your team is closer together rather than super spread out, she won't have a problem. She does have a stun ability. It kind of sucks, but she does have one. Good for taking out like magic, good for taking out against Spider-Man. She has her secondary attack as well. Good for getting in chunk damage. Ultimate is not going to do much of anything for dealing with the divers, but overall her basic attack, her bread and butter, chef's kiss. And one that I think actually is better than the next pick of Namor. You know what? I think I would almost treat them equally, but they're better in different scenarios. Because with Wanda, you do have to be aware of the diver, and when you have the diver in sight, it's pretty easy to deal with. But with Namor, you have the turrets, and if you have a team up with the Hulk, which is just gorgeous, you have the third turret that tracks for quite a distance away and melts, but they do decent damage. They alert whoever's nearby and is paying attention that yeah, there's a diver in the area. Wonderful for dealing with Spider-Man, and great for alerting you whenever Magic or Black Panther is around. Honestly, not much more you could ask for. Iron Fist is a little bit better with getting away just because of his block, but even then, alerts you when he's nearby. Not the best for getting picks, but is a great deterrent, and honestly is like the shining bread and butter, the shining guy, the gold standard of what anti-dive is. When there was a lot of dive back in season 1.5 or 2, you saw Namor all the time, and if you were running dive, Namor was banned all the time. Now, someone who kind of came out of nowhere, he wasn't it really the first go around when he first came out, and then he was really just under the radar for quite some time, and now he's Mr. Do-It-For-You Fantastic. Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. His ability to grapple is very, very strong. Good to get those who are trying to get away, or to get up to your teammates in case they're being dived. Pretty beefy all around, and then he has this elongated form to kind of act as a shield. You can get picks with him, but he's not like the best DPS in general, I think. Although he is a pain to kill. Kind of like Namor in a sense, he's a really good deterrent. He's able to grapple on, get some saves in. He's able to do the, I wish I knew the name for it, but he kind of, with another hero on your team and get some shield. I think I have Penny way too high. I think that's better. Again, he's not getting picks on the dives, but he is acting as a deterrent, which I think is painfully underrated. Wow, I am lost for words. That's how great he is. For the last DPS, I was thinking about it today, and he's kind of a mixed bag. Yeah, if you play him right, he's actually very good for it, but almost in the same sense as Penny, where, you know, if the timing's right, everything goes to plan. He's very good. We do have, as a wild card, Bucky. Just with his basic kit, not really doing much against the divers, but if you get them hooked in, easy to use his abilities to pick them off, and you can chain them up very, very fast to get picks on them. But for the most part, he's playing up in the front line. He's helping dealing with the tanks, dealing with whoever's up there. The divers don't really have much to deal with a Bucky, and then again, it really comes down to how well your Bucky does play and the type of role that he's filling that particular game or at that particular time. He's not someone that I would be like, oh yes, we got a Bucky on, great, now we have something for the divers. But he is, again, someone who can deal with the divers pretty well. Actually, that goes with our next person, Black Widow. They're in the wildcard section. Now, they're not going to be someone who goes hunting for the divers. Honestly, they're in the back, which the divers will be. But she has good abilities to, one, the kick and stun. And then if you get a quick shot off with your sniper rifle, that's a pick. The only real problem with that is that the divers have to be close by. Which, yeah, Black Widow is a pretty decent person to go after, but there's no real point to do that if you're the diver. And so if you are up close as a diver against a Black Widow, the odds are in the Black Widow's favor. Otherwise, I think she'd be like D, maybe tied with Penny. But when she does have the right time, the right circumstances, oh man, is Black Widow pretty decent. Now, I think that does cover just about all of the DPS. Yeah, you can use whoever as a DPS to get picks, like Squirrel Girl, if you happen to land them in your nut snare. You can get easy pickings, but that's not something that often is happening. And honestly, I don't want Squirrel Girl on my team, let alone Squirrel Girl being the one to do the dive resisting. And then you got like the flyers, they're not doing much for the divers, and Spider-Man really takes care of a lot of them. And besides like Spider-Man on Spider-Man action, I don't think the divers do much for dealing with the divers themselves. Hey, post-production Devin here. I wanted to explain a little bit as to why a lot of the dive heroes I don't think necessarily are good against other dive heroes. If you've ever played dive before, there is almost like a code. Now that goes out the window in big team fights, but if you're a BP, if you're a magic, and you're taking a side path and you come across another diver, typically you emote and you both go past each other to the enemy's backline. But I've noticed that's been the case in both ranked and as well as quick play, and that's for majority of the divers. Spider-Man tends to be kind of a free baller. Anyways, let's get back into it. Moon Knight is all like kind of in the same spot. If you could throw down your Ankh, that's good for keeping yourself alive, but not much else. A magic versus Moon Knight, the magic is winning most of the time. With his supports, there's no anti-dive support, even with the upcoming season. I don't think that Luna is going to be anti-dive. She looks good, I like how her abilities look, but have you tried to track a Black Panther? And that's something that I think more people should keep in mind. Not everyone plays on PC. You have the console players as well. Have you tried to play on console? It's horrendous with the aiming, which is why initially I had someone like Mantis and regular Luna, no team up Luna, as almost like wildcards, kind of dive resistant, because Mantis has her sleep orb and Luna has her freeze ability. Brother, you're not consistently hitting those on console. The average person is not consistently hitting those on console. You, whoever watched this, you might be the guy, but regular people are not. So they are not dive resistant in general, but someone who is Adam Warlock. Supports are kind of their own thing, and this is just living the dives. You ever pop a soul bond with 6 people in it? Oh my god. No greater feeling taking next to no damage and then healing up because of the soul bond. Oh man. And then on top of that, his healing ability, you aim down or just aim off of your team and heal, you're back to full health. It heals himself. I think it's 148 damage or health, meaning you can survive the Black Panther assault and live, and Black Panther's on cooldown. With magic, you can survive her combos. Granted, you got like 7 seconds to try to make the most of it, but you are alive for a little bit. Dive resistant. Same thing with Spider-Man, although I guess I was thinking of Spider-Man as previous Spider-Man. He kind of isn't it this season. But if he ever does get buffed, it's kind of the same effect. You heal once, aim down, heal once, you're back to full health, not a problem. And then someone who does something similar, but just kind of better, we have Loki, who in this regard is better than Adam Warlock. Yeah, you get to use his healing orbs, his healing runes less. Unfortunately, I think it's every like 25 or 30 seconds, but it gives you a handful of moments to, one, heal up to instant health. Whoever's attacking you is going to run out of the cooldowns and try to get away. And then if you do need, you have invisibility to get away, as well as teleportation to get away. Honestly, dive is not that big of a deal for Loki. I want to say Jeff, but that's mostly just for surviving yourself, and they kind of nerfed him a bit. But with both of these characters, Loki and Adam, it's one quick button press. You don't have to try to run away. You don't have to do anything else. Boom, you're good for a little bit. And so these two characters, these two supports, are easily the gold standard of what dive resistance supports are. which is why they're in S tier. Now I did hear, again, Mantis, she has her sleep orb. Yeah, you wait a few moments and you pop that, you're good. Have you ever been dived in Marvel Rivals? You don't have a few moments. You have a split second and you hope for the best. Mantis really isn't it. And then it has a chunky cooldown and it's not it. Luna Snow, it was kind of the same effect with her snowball, her ice ball. Have you ever missed that? Have you ever been in a team fight and missed that? It's not hard to do. And God forbid you're trying to hit a Black Panther. My gosh, good luck. Now she does get a cool team up with Adam. I think Adam is the anchor again, Unlucky, where kind of acts like a soul bond, kind of acts like the tendrils for Venom. I don't think it slows down anyone, but it grapples onto them, and if you hit them with Luna, you get lifesteal, which will make it somewhat easier for her to live, but not very good. Wildcard. I wouldn't say it's situational because we're looking at dives and obviously you're being dived in this scenario. And if you're trying to hit like Magic, yeah, maybe. You're trying to hit Spider-Man, yeah, maybe. You're trying to hit Black Panther, no, good luck. Trying to hit Iron Fist, actually that one's not too bad. If she wasn't in the wild card, she'd be in B. Yes, any character can deal with the dive hero. This list here is going to be your best bet for who you should play as if you are being dived as a dive, counter, and / dive resistant team. Most importantly, it is the support's role to switch if you're being dived. If you can't do anything, swap off. But it's also the rest of your team's responsibility to come back there and help you. And if they're not and blaming you the whole time, it's not your fault, it's theirs. It's a team-based game. And then Inviswoman does have her push and pull, although really you should only be using push in that regard. Great, you push the enemy back, what, 10 feet? Then what are you going to do? You don't have your push anymore and you're dead. I wouldn't even call them wildcards, but they are there in case you have never played them and don't know how to use them. But yeah, this is what I think is going to be presently the best, and barring any huge, more big like hero balance changes, what is going to be the best dive, counter, anti-dive team in Marvel Rivals at this moment. And that's a wrap on this anti-dive tier list in Marvel Rivals. Tell me, do you think someone else should be up on the list? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit that like button if you're still watching, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next one. YouTube thinks you like this video next? Let me know if you do.